opportunity to talk to several of you over the past week or so. I've known a lot of you for most of my life. Born and raised in Bradley County, and currently live in the 2nd District, right in what I would like to call ground zero. That's kind of started all this discussion. To be honest, guys, I could sit up here and give you a bunch of statistics about the dangers of data centers and the negative aspects of data centers. What it basically boils down to is I can turn around and I can look in this room. I can't remember the last time this council room looked like this right here. I can't remember the last time Facebook blew up in our community. I don't have to sit up here and tell you about power bills blew up in our community. I don't have to sit up here and tell you about power bills increasing by 267% over a 3 to 4 year period. For the people that live in District 2 or District 1 or any district where a center like this may be built in our community, people like myself who are looking at retirement in just a few months, and my in-laws who have basically owned the property that we live on and farm since 1970. The thought of your power bill increasing from, say, $200 a month to $600, $650 a month when you're on just a Social Security budget or something like that. It's crippling for me to think that I've spent 30 years as a public servant and looking at retirement, and to think that I may have to stutter step my retirement because of a construction project in my backyard that would require me financially not to be able to retire because of a company that's not even owned by someone in this country, to cripple me and my family financially is mind-blowing to me. And I think that sentiment rings pretty much true through all these people right here. I don't I'd hate to think that any of you sitting up there in your seats right now would feel any differently than I do. Some of you are already at retirement age. Some of you are creeping that way. Just the thought of that, it's not personal. It's just common sense for me. I can sit up here and talk about the personal knowledge that I have about a planned proposal, unofficial. I'll throw the quotation marks around it, the unofficial idea of what they have planned. I've seen it with my own two eyes, spread across my mother and father-in-law's kitchen table as they were asked to sell their property for a lot of money, something that they poured their heart and soul. My wife has poured her heart and soul in. I've raised my kids there. My wife and her sister were raised there. Thinking about Mr. Scott, who borders us, and just the community around us that we've all, have lived and coexisted in peace. And the thought of something like this coming in, disrupting that, is terribly disheartening. And it is a doggone shame that it takes something like this to bring a community together like this. I'm glad it's happened. I think Chris is going to touch on some stuff that kind of drives this point home a little more so for the 2nd District. But what I want to leave you with is this. Guys, as you come up with the different ideas on restrictions and zoning and things like that, all I ask you to do is ask yourself, is the project that we're approving, whatever project it is, data center, industry, anything, does it make the quality of life in Bradley County better? If you cannot answer that honestly, financially, personally, jobs, taxes, the answer to all those questions is yes, and it is a hard no for me, and I guarantee you it's a hard no for these people right here too. Quality of life. The last thing I want to tell you with is farmland is precious. They're not making any more of it. And if you don't like the price of ground beef being $8, $9, $10, $12 a pound, You can't grill and fry data center servers when you get hungry. Let's come together. Let's come together as a group, as a community, and let's take care of one another, and let's move this thing on down the road, all right? Thank you, guys.
All right, first off, I'd like to thank Mr. Louis Alford for recognizing me and giving me the chance to speak. I would also like to thank the Commission for hearing our concerns today, as you are tasked with making a vital decision that has the potential to affect my family, my neighbors, the Charleston area, and our schools. My name is Chris Stone, and my family lives on North Mouse Creek Road. I'm coming to you today as a husband, a father, a neighbor, an educator, and a voter. Though I have no giftings as a public speaker or politician, the attributes that I have just listed have compelled me to be a part of this process. It is a blessing to live in a free country and to be part of the Cleveland, Bradley County, Charleston communities. Last week, when I was made aware of the topic to be discussed at this meeting, I drafted a simple informational letter. Me, my wife, and my son set out and went door to door to our surrounding neighbors. We spoke and handed out flyers about this meeting. Many of you were contacted and the news channels got involved. Though some of my neighbors knew about the possibility of an AI data storage facility coming, most everyone else had heard nothing about it. I would assume that some of you had heard about it. I was told months ago, and some have no idea. I commend the County Commission for making it a priority to put regulations in place for when there is a proposal to the Planning Commission and then a needed vote from this commission to approve it. This may have been very frustrating for all of you and the mayor, who has no vote today, as you were put on the defensive, especially with the start of early voting and local elections. However, you campaigned for your districts and were given the responsibility to represent the people in those districts. It was great to see the number of your constituents that do not want one of these facilities in our community. We especially do not want one next to our schools. When the new middle school is built, there will be nearly 3,000 students and teachers between the two schools that will sit across from this property. For me, this was never about the mayor or the commission. It was about rallying my neighbors and the parents of Walker Valley and the future middle school to show up if they could today, or to contact you to share their feelings. Thank you for showing up. Through this action, hopefully you went on record with the news, the paper, social media, the radio, or in person with the voters. Hopefully you researched some of the many problems with these facilities. To name a few: higher electricity rates, water supply stress, noise pollution, air pollution, property value concerns, loss of land and community character, heat, microclimate effects, limited, if any, local jobs, and environmental justice concerns, and came prepared to protect our community and our children. So as you discuss these matters today, I hope my fellow citizens are paying attention to the discussion and the restrictions that you choose to put in place. Then they will have the opportunity to vote according to their convictions. I know where some of you stand when it comes to our children and our schools, especially the woman I voted for who's running for my district. However, I don't know all of you. Rather than assume the worst, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt until you prove me wrong. That brings us to why we're here today. It is of utmost importance that this commission takes these restrictions seriously and does all it can to keep one of these facilities off our street and away from our schools. These facilities are causing issues all over the country. This is personal to me. My property is extremely close to the farmland that sits behind Walker Valley and the future middle school. Part of that said property also borders my side lot on Glendale. I purchased this property in 2020 and spent nearly 2 years renovating it while we lived in it. I'm a man that was on food stamps as a kid, spent 20 years paying off college loans, and now owns a house and some acres of land that my kids will inherit. However, this makes me no more important than my neighbor that lives in a rental down the street and pales in comparison to the farmer that owns a large amount of land and has lived here most of their lives. There is not one of you that would be willing to buy mine or my neighbor's properties and live close to one of these facilities if it is built. This is personal to me. My wife and I started the softball team at Walker Valley when the school opened. With the help of a local Charleston business owner, the late Billy Haney, we built a field that is home to the Ocoee and Walker Valley softball teams. This is personal to me. I have been an educator for nearly 30 years. My son and so many others go to Walker Valley. Most of our OMS students will be coming here in the future, and eventually we will have a new middle school. I hope that you make restrictions that protect all of our schools, students, and teachers from these things, no matter what end of town they are on. This is personal to me. There are some great farmers that live around me, and they and their livestock should not be affected by one of these facilities. This is personal to me. There are some young families with small children, and there are some that are retired and deserve to live in peace. It is our civic duty to question, speak out, and demand that our leaders do what is best for our community. At least I can look my family my neighbors, my former students, and our future students in the eye and say I tried. Hopefully nothing ever comes of this. You can call me crazy, but I can't imagine a company that spends $22 million on just land, not feeling confident that they will be able to do whatever they want with it, by whatever means are necessary. If you do what's right and put in proper restrictions, and there is still one that gets built, then the news has a story. And I hope they dig deep to find out what happened before we got to this meeting today. The only problem is it'll be a little too late. In conclusion, all of us need to be seen, thought of, and protected from what could be coming. Please stand with us and for us. Thanks for letting me speak today, and I pray that wisdom and compassion guide you.
Commissioner Alford.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chairman, for letting those gentlemen speak. I'll have some comments at a later time, please. Thank you.
Right. Commissioner Blake.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You guys get to sit through a boring budget amendment here, but we got to do it. Mr. Chairman, budget amendment on page 36 is Bradley County Sheriff's Office. She is increasing her revenue. She is increasing her expenses of $83,200 in the lines. This is for reimbursement for post-certified training. That puts us on for a motion. Thank you.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Please? Second, Commissioner Slater. Open for discussion. Being no discussion, call the roll, please.
Goins.
Yes.
Slater.
Yes.
Mason.
Yes.
Ledford.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Winters.
Yes.
Beatty.
Yes.
Hughes.
Pass.
Alford.
Yes.
Cry.
Yes.
Blake.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Does anyone wish to change their vote?
That'd be me. I want to pass.
You want to pass? Okay.
What's the new total, please?
Okay, that's 12 in favor, none opposed, and 2 pass.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is just a in-service training that the state pays our deputies for their training. That's all. That's all I have in 3rd District. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Collins, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No committee report, but I'll say in 4 years sitting up here, that was the most awesome Pledge of Allegiance I've ever heard in this room. Thank you for showing up today. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Mason, please.
Thank you, Chairman. I don't really have anything today either, but I can echo some things about I own my family's owned property and my farm since 1951, and I stand a lot here today with these folks too. That's all I have, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Before I go to Commissioner Gilbert, I'd like to add to say to the public here that we are on live TV here, and while you're at home, get on the county site and you can see yourself or see the meeting. And that goes for all committee meetings. We try to be as transparent as possible. Bradley County, when you look at it, in order to communicate countywide, it's very difficult. But we try to be transparent here, and all the committee meetings, the commission meetings are all on video, and you can view them at any time. Commissioner Gilbert, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to commend everybody for being here. Local government is where it starts. And I just want to thank y'all for coming, and thank you for doing what you do in your community. 2nd District is strong, boy. Thank you.
I believe I've heard from all of them this weekend.
Y'all boys stand up.
Commissioner Thompson, please.
I just want to thank everyone for being here. It helps our job, makes it more easier, and directs us in the right direction. And so y'all being here really makes a difference in the way we think. We thank you very much.
Commissioner Goins, please.
Yes, sir. Generally, I have nothing to report. Thank you.
Commissioner Slater.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have nothing to report today.
Commissioner Ledford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I have several 6th District constituents here. I want to thank them for being here. Thank everyone for being here today. And last, and I better not forget, April the 20th, 2002, me and my wife were married. So it is our anniversary today, 24 years. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Hey. Commissioner Rogers, please.
Nothing to report today, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Winters, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all for
showing up today and sharing with us from your heart. What I've found that the 7th District is close to the 3rd District and also close to the 1st District and close to the 2nd District. My district is a city district, but I've had more phone calls from my people saying, what's happening with Charleston? What's happening in their community? So we're all in this. There are 14 of us up here. 7 of us represent each district, but you also represent the whole community. And it's an honor for us to see you here. And my people have called me and have told me that they're with you. So it's not district to district we're talking. This is Bradley County. The city says that there's the city with faith or with spirit. And I say that we're the county with faith. And I know that a God that doesn't bring confusion. I know a God that brings care and comfort and direction in our lives. So this soon will pass. But this is a chance for us all to come together and say that we're all in Bradley County together. If you hurt in your district, my district hurts. The other districts hurt as well. So let's work this out. We many of us, almost all of us, when this day is up here, it's caught us up in a surprise as well. So we'll do our best to do what's best for you all and best for this community. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We'll now move along to the approval of the agenda. Entertain a motion.
Second.
Thompson, Goins. Open for discussion. Being no discussion, call the roll, please.
Goins,
Yes.
Slater,
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Ledford,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Winters,
Yes.
Beatty,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Alford,
Yes.
Cry,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
It's 14 in favor and none opposed.
Thank you. We'll move along to agenda item A. Commissioner Rogers, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a motion to submit a letter to the Comptroller of the Treasury requesting direction and guidance on the use of opioid funds. You can see that on page 47 through 49 in your agenda packet. I place this in form of a motion.
Second.
Commissioner Slater on the second. Open for discussion. Being no discussion, call the roll, please.
Goins,
Yes.
Slater,
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Ledford,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Winters,
Yes.
Beatty,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Alford,
Yes.
Cry,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
It's 14 in favor and none opposed.
Thank you. Agenda item B. Commissioner Collins, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I do this, I want to say thank you to Ms. Moultrie, Ms. Freiberg, the mayor, our legal and legislative team who took a great opportunity to work through this document in terms of policies and procedures for something that's really probably not very fun to talk about, tax incremental financing, but it is significant. I know there was a push to kind of rush through this and move it forward, but I appreciate the group really taking the time to analyze this, look at this, and do what is best for our community and our county. This is a motion to approve the Legal and Legislative Committee recommendation to adopt the Industrial Development Board of the County of Bradley and the City of Cleveland Tax Incremental Financing Program Policies and Procedures. You can see that document on pages 50 through 69. I put that in the form of a motion.
Do I have a second, please? Commissioner Blake. Open for discussion. Being no discussion, call the roll, please.
Goins,
Yes.
Slater,
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Ledford,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Winters,
Yes.
Beatty,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Alford,
Yes.
Cry,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Gilbert,
No.
and Thompson.
Yes.
Anyone wish to change their vote? It's 13 in favor and 1 opposed.
Thank you. Agenda item C. Commissioner Rogers, please.
Just to be clear, this is not the one that everyone is here for, okay? Just to be clear. This is a resolution to rezone from FAR Forestry Agricultural and Residential District to R2 High Density Residential District property located at Jensen Avenue Southeast and identified by tax map 065E, Group D, parcel 028.00. You can see this on pages 70 and 71 of your agenda packet. I place this in form of a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We now will go into a public hearing. We're now regarding the request. When you're recognized, please keep your remarks germane to the resolution at hand. Is there anyone present who wishes to speak for or against this request? There being no one, the public hearing is now closed. Mr. Rogers, back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, this is the resolution. I place this in form of a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second on Goins. Open for discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This did pass unanimously through the Planning Commission.
Thank you. The public hearing is now closed, and call the roll, please.
Goins,
Yes.
Slater,
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Ledford,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Winters,
Yes.
Beatty,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Alford,
Yes.
Cry,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
It's 14 in favor and none opposed.
Thank you very much. Now the one we've all been waiting for. Agenda item D, Commissioner Rogers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And if everyone would, please bear with me because I do have something prepared that I would like to say. Before we get into our next agenda item, I want to take a moment and clearly define what this next agenda item is and what the vote and decision means for Bradley County. A yes vote today is a vote to be proactive. It is a vote to put standards, regulations, and restrictions in place on data centers, AI data centers, and crypto mining operations before one ever shows up at our doorstep. A no vote leaves our zoning codes empty on this issue. It leaves us with no guardrails, no defined process, no protection, meaning a facility like this could potentially come in under existing commercial or industrial zoning without the level of oversight this community expects. That is not a position we should be in, or we should allow our communities to be in. This effort did not start this week. After attending a County Commission Association meeting last year, I heard directly from commissioners across the state about how they were having issues and concerns addressing cryptocurrency centers, data centers, and similar operations, and that raised a question for me personally. I followed up with our county planner in August, Bentley Thomas, and asked a simple question. Do we have anything in place to regulate these types of facilities? The answer was no, and that is why we are here today. Our county planner worked with the Tennessee County Planners Association and other county planners across the state to draft this resolution so that Bradley County and its residents had protection in place against these types of operation. I also want to be clear about something else. I personally had zero knowledge of any specific site or potential project in Bradley County until it was mentioned in last Monday night in an open meeting. Like many of you, I started hearing from residents immediately after, including a conversation with a constituent in the 2nd District that was very alarming. I'm not sure if it was a God thing, a coincidence, but what I truly believe it was the voice of the people coming together to voice a concern for their community, and that is how all this information was brought to light. The concern from our community is real, and they matter. But please hear me and let me be very clear on this. This vote is not about setting the table for a facility to come in. It's not about preparing the way for development. It's about making sure we keep Bradley County, Bradley County. And now it seems like when a facility like this ever does come forward and wants to be a part of this community, they will have to follow our community's rules and regulations if they want to operate in this community, not operate without them. Right now, we don't have those rules. We don't have anything on the books specific to these types of operations, and because of that, that means those facilities could operate and function in any commercial or any industrial zone. I believe this proposal is a strong starting point, and we will continue to work and monitor all of our regulations to ensure that they fit within the fabric of Bradley County. But please hear me. Doing nothing or waiting is not an option. If we fail to act, the door is wide open as we sit here today. This is about local community control. This is about protecting our schools, our neighborhoods, our farmland, and our community. And this is about making sure growth in Bradley County happens on our community's terms. My goal has always been simple, to serve this community with the best interest at heart. And that's what my family has done for generations, and that's what I will continue to do. We have an opportunity today to lead instead of react, like we had to do with the potential of Moccasin Bend just a few short months ago. To put a framework in place that requires accountability, transparency, and oversight through both the Planning Commission and the County Commission. And I believe we owe our community just that. With that, Mr. Chairman, this is a resolution to amend the Bradley County zoning resolution to add definitions and regulations pertaining to cryptocurrency mining and data centers, and to include cryptocurrency mining and data centers as a use permitted in the I-1 General Industrial District. You can see these on pages 72 and 74. Mr. Chairman, our county planner, Bentley Thomas, is here and has a prepared statement that he would like to read and discuss as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas.
Thanks, Josh.
Bentley, would you mind coming to the microphone? Because they can hear you online, but it would be difficult to hear here. Thank you.
A zoning resolution sets basic use allowances in specific zones by regulating the use of all property in a county. All legal commercial uses must be classified in a zoning district. However, a county can regulate property use in order to protect and promote public health, safety, and general welfare. At a 2025 Bradley County Planning Commission meeting, the subject of cryptocurrency mining, data centers, and AI centers was first brought up. Then the subject was also addressed at the state planning conference I attended. All sources of information on this topic advised the county to consider regulations to protect communities from potential pitfalls and the danger of failing to properly regulate these industries. The fact that we currently had no restrictions or regulations for these types of uses was verified and fully disclosed. The Planning Commission asked me to look into how these uses are restricted in other jurisdictions around the state. In conjunction with other jurisdictions, I developed a model template for the Planning Commission to discuss to restrict the location, zoning district, sound limit requirements, as well as assurances from utility providers that the infrastructure of the facility is sized correctly and can safely accommodate the proposed use. Working with the Planning Commission, we drafted and approved the changes to the zoning resolution regulating cryptocurrency mining, data centers, and AI centers as set forth in the resolution you have before you today. On January 15th, the Planning Commission voted to recommend this resolution to the County Commission for consideration following a 30-day required public hearing notice. Another 30-day public hearing notice was given prior to the public hearing about to occur today. This resolution does not pertain to any specific property or project. Rather, this amendment will clarify the required zoning classification for cryptocurrency mining, data centers, and AI centers. I'll turn it back over to Josh.
Thank you, Bentley. Mr. Chairman, that's all we have. Yep.
Okay, great. We will now enter into a public hearing regarding this request. When you're recognized, please keep your remarks germane to the resolution at hand. Is there anyone present who wishes to speak for or against the request? I don't know who came first. I'll go on the left here, left front. Couldn't see your face, so I didn't know if it... Please
Hello,
give your name.
Oh, okay. My name is Caitlin Spack. Hello, Commissioners. Today, I'm here to ask questions and talk about concerns of potential AA data centers coming to our town. Everyone here has expressed how terrible they are for the community, from its water, air, heat, and noise pollution, to using our county's resources like electricity and water, how after construction, these centers run on a skeleton crew, creating no new jobs. I checked with Tennessee government website to look up what kind of tax exemption requirements data centers have for choosing Tennessee. AI data centers only have to hire 15 full-time employees and spend $100 million on capital investments in order to be tax exempt for purchasing property, computer software, repairs, installations, and backup power. In this proposed amendment, resolutions for the guideline zoning, it states Article 3, Part A, the size shall not be less than 5 acres, but there is no maximum size. There is no guidelines for how much water and energies these centers can use. There is no verbiage on how close they can be built to each other. This is something I think is important to add to the fine print so there are no loopholes that can be gone through to create mega facilities close to each other. Commissioners, I highly recommend looking into how terrible and disruptive these centers are for yourselves. It's not just myths and fairy tales made up by millions of Americans suffering now, all in the pursuit of money and growth. The only thing these data centers bring are reckless, irreversible environmental damage, decline of property value for those who live near, and higher strain on our water and electric infrastructure, while they accept grants and tax exemptions to be built just for more AI data storage. What we want are no data centers, not to make regulations that are easily attainable. That are easily obtainable by these billion-dollar companies. There is no saving the bigger population of this town. It will affect everyone. The potential behind one of these being behind Walker Valley High School could be the start of endless data centers in the area. Please consider adding more amendments if you can't outright ban these centers.
On the right, I can't reckon that. Come, yes.
Hi, my name is Sarah, and I'm just going to read what I have written. I'm here today because zoning decisions determine what kind of uses and what scale of uses can be placed next to our homes, farms, schools, and roads. When we talk about adding data centers or cryptocurrency mining to the I-1 district, we're not just talking about a definition. We're talking about the long-term intensity of development that this county will be required to absorb. Across the county, large-scale data centers follow a consistent pattern. They require extremely high electrical capacity, large cooling systems, and years of heavy construction activity. Yet they create relatively few permanent jobs for the amount of land they occupy. Communities are often told these projects will bring innovation and economic growth, but the actual impacts tend to fall on residents while the benefits are limited. If you want to understand what living near a major data center cluster looks like, you can look at places such as Ashburn, Virginia. Reports from that region describe constant low-frequency noise from cooling fans, regular generator testing, 24-hour lighting, and the need for new substations, transmission lines, and road expansions. What began as farmland is now dominated by large industrial buildings, fencing, and heavy truck traffic. That is the real-world outcome of allowing very large-scale facilities without clear zoning limits. There are also many examples of large data center projects across the country that were paused or canceled after land was cleared and the infrastructure was planned. In those situations, communities were left with disturbed land and no economic return. That's why zoning decisions must consider not only what gets built, but what happens if nothing gets built. A 200-acre hyperscale facility in Bradley County would require hundreds of megawatts of power, new substations or transmission lines, backup generators, and large-scale cooling systems. Residents near the site could experience increased noise, lighting, construction traffic, and long-term industrial activity. These are not small impacts, and they are not temporary. The question before us today is not whether technology is good or bad. The question is whether our zoning code should allow unlimited scale for this type of use, or whether we should adopt reasonable guardrails that protect the surrounding community. Many counties across the country have addressed this by adding clear, measurable limits within their industrial zoning. These are the types of protections I believe Bradley County should consider. A maximum acreage or building size threshold for data centers and cryptocurrency mines, noise standards including low-frequency noise limits measured at the property line, increased setbacks for large-scale facilities, especially when adjacent to residential or agricultural land, restrictions on the number and type of backup generators, lighting and screening requirements appropriate for the rural adjacent areas, infrastructure impact studies for power, water, roads, and emergency services, a requirement that large data centers obtain a special permit rather than being automatically allowed by right, a decommissioning or restoration plan if the project is abandoned or paused. These are standard zoning tools used across the country. They don't block development. They ensure that development happens at a scale that fits this community. We are not anti-technology, or at least I am not anti-technology, and I don't think anybody here is anti-growth, but zoning exists to balance private development with public impact. Until we have transparency, independent impact assessments, and binding commitments that protect our schools, farms, water, and air, the responsible approach is caution. Our community deserves the chance to decide with clear information and realistic expectations whether the scale of this project that may or may not be happening is appropriate for Bradley County. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Jim Davis. I actually live in the city of Cleveland. I'm not anti-data center. I'm not anti putting them in Bradley County. But the regulations I see here seem to me too broad that you could just drive a lot of trucks through. There needs to be things like setbacks for so far from the borders. The decibel location should be much less. These are just too broad. And I don't know if legally, once you pass these, if you can come in and when someone has a permit, you can make further restrictions. That's the thing. It's my question. Can you do that legally? I don't know that one way or the other. But I want to echo what the previous speaker said. I'm very much on technology. Data centers are what I use in computers, what we all use. They're coming, but it's just these restrictions just seem to me are not broad enough at all. They need to be much more researched, have closed loop systems on the water. They don't need unlimited amounts of water. How do you handle these are electrical engineering questions. This needs to be researched before you put down regulations that may not have that much meaning. Thank you for letting me speak.
Back.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name's Nikki Johnson Corley, and this directly impacts me as well as it does most people in this room. My family farm joins the property that was sold on the east side. My dad, Harry Johnson, worked for the Wright brothers for 40 years. He ran cattle on that property, and until just 2 years ago, I ran his cattle on that property when he was no longer able. My concern is not only for the people, but it's for the livestock. It's for the wildlife. Unless you have spent countless hours on a side-by-side in the middle of this 251 some odd acres and seen the migration of the wood ducks, seen the migration of the Canadian geese, seen the deer come out and graze, unless you've seen the groundhogs who like to just enjoy a Sunday afternoon eating some grass, or seen the coyotes go through the fields, or the fox, then you don't understand the impact that it has on our wildlife and our livestock. We raise cattle for a living, beef cattle. There's something called infrasound that's put off by these data centers, AI centers, whatever the case may be, and that infrasound has a negative impact on our livestock, not to mention everyone in this room that's within direct area of this data center that they're wanting to build or they're wanting to propose to build. That infrasound has been shown to cause decreased weight gain and decreased milk production in cattle specifically. When I'm paid on the pound of beef I produce, it's affecting my and my family's livelihood. This came to my attention over 2 years ago as to what was proposed for that property. I have planes coming over my property all the time doing aerial surveys. I was doing an expense report for the company I work for one day at home, and I counted, because I made a mark on the paper, it flew over our property 13 times. A plane that was in the air. I don't have a problem with these types of things, but when it goes to affecting my family and my livestock, I'm going to speak up. And that's why I'm here. I do know that plans and preparations have been trying to make sure that there's enough energy to support such a center. In fact, the company that sold that property directly adjacent to mine, they've been up there in Riceville and they're buying up all the farmland they possibly can on the west side of Highway 11 for solar farms. Why? Because Volunteer Electric told me, Cleveland Utilities told me in our yard, they've already been on that property surveying to see where they would have to build a substation to provide enough electricity and hopefully enough water to support such a building. They know they have to go through the EPA regulations, but there's a lot of money under the table being passed for a project such as this. So to sit there and tell me and tell the rest of our constituents out here that there isn't, we call BS because we know better. Someone has directly given this, whoever bought this property, assurances they could make this go through. And we, the people, are here to stand up and say, we ain't standing for it any longer. So all I ask, look into your heart of hearts. Mr. Winters, I went to school with your daughter, Jenny. I know a lot of these people out in this audience right now. They don't want what's coming. And with the infrasound, you can just go on right back and talk about Moccasivin coming to Bradley County, because with the sound alone, it may drive some of us there itself. So I beg you, think about what you're doing. Think about what is right for the constituents of this county and what's right for the people who are putting you in those seats and having your back when it comes election time. We ask that you get our back now. Thank you.
Before I allow anyone else to speak, I want to say that the ones who have spoken across the board, and what we don't want is to spend the afternoon listening to repetitive talk. So if you have something to say, you're more than welcome.
Andrew Morgan.
And please, yes, sir.
No.
No,
Andrew was next.
Hello, my name is Mandy Wilson. I've lived in this area for 12 years, but I want to talk about Walker Valley for a second. I have taught your children, your grandchildren, and with some of you for 17 years at Walker Valley. We want to keep our best and our brightest in our community. We talk about it every day. Why are we willing to destroy the north part of our county to short-term profit? I moved to Charleston for the beauty and industrialization of this land will destroy what I've worked my entire working career toward. My home is in Charleston. My students' homes are in Charleston. We are here, all of us, to protect our way of life. Please don't put profit above humanity. Thank you.
Because back in 2018, I was looking for an office, and I found one on Northley Highway in the city, Ocoee Street, and it was right across from Toby McKenzie's old office. It was a bank, and I looked at the zoning; it was R1, and I spent 6 months getting that rezoned. 6 months to get a house on Ocoee Street in Cleveland rezoned for me to put a law office in. The deal that I made was for $180,000, and it was contingent on that rezoning. I almost didn't get it pulled off. almost didn't get it pulled off. So the question that I have before I go across the street and vote, and I'm sure a lot of these folks want to know the same thing, is are we going to put in restrictions, or are we going to put in restrictions like other municipalities have done to keep these out of Bradley County? And that's the question that really we have. I live basically next to Mayor Davis and about a mile from the proposed site. And I, like some of these folks, have a lot of a lot of reasons to think that why would someone spend $22 million, $90,000 an acre, if it wasn't going to go through? So I would love to see you guys send a message to your constituents, especially before they go vote. As we all know, voter turnout's been low so far. So before these folks go vote, let them know where you stand. Are we putting in some setbacks and some restrictions, or are we going to actually dig in and find out what other counties in New York and Virginia have actually done to keep these out? That's the question I would ask.
Nothing being repeated. My name is Amber St. Emma. Gary Davis, it's nice to meet you. I'm quoting you. Quote, I have never said there is no interest, no land sale, or no possibility of a future project, and I appreciate your transparency. You are a great mayor. That right there is enough for us all to be ready to fight to keep this from occurring. Nobody should be attacking anyone. That's wasted time, energy, and emotion. We're all here to show up, protest, and speak out and vote and attend meetings to make our voices heard. If there is interest, property being looked at or property, et cetera, or something like this, then we need to make it impossible for them to do. These centers should be isolated, not anywhere close to homes, schools, businesses, or farmland where people have animals or crops. They should be regulated to obscure areas, not useful or harmful to the area they sit in. They for sure don't need to be drawing our resources up like water and power, which needs to be researched in general, because when we are already dealing with a drought a lot, and the power, wait for it, on Wildwood Avenue, 14th Street goes out religiously. Okay. So the grid can't even support AC during the summer at times, and they ask people to put their thermostats up at 76 degrees or something of that nature. And many folks I saw think that's insane. I keep mine there all warm weather months, but most do not. So the strain continues as folks continue their health issues or differing wants and needs. My power goes out regularly. Just this week, my power went off, and on tons of times in many rows, nearly killed expenses, appliances, devices, computers. We've bought oil, propane, battery lamps, and a grill and much more just to be able to function because it goes out regularly already. Prices are getting crazy as it is. Fees, rates, etc. are ridiculous. All of this all over this state and county. I'd hate to see the state on how many people are cut off or can't afford their water bills and electric bills these days compared to before. Thank you for taking the time to listen.
Hello, thank you. My name is Lynn, and I want to thank you for... Can you hear me now? Okay. Hold up. Is that better? I want to thank you for having the foresight a year ago to start looking into this. And because we always thought that was somewhere else and not here. So thank you for starting this. I appreciate that. What I'm here today is to ask you to put very strict conditional use requirements. Now, I know that you can't, I don't think that you can just ban a particular industry. But we can regulate tightly to control how they build and what they do. You know, we have suffered, in Bradley County, has suffered many long-term, multi-year drought conditions, which we're in now. We've suffered a lot of agricultural loss. Any industry that comes in and lowers our water table or contaminates will cost us untold amounts, and we're already greatly suffering. My big concern is the water use. There's also significant ecological harm for pollutants such as heavy metals and biocides into nearby waterways, such as our very important Hiwassee River. so it's not just something that could go into our groundwater. First of all, I'm please asking you to please put on a moratorium in place. Excuse me, these have been upheld if they've done correctly. That will buy time to do studies and to back up regulations that are needed. The monies that we put in now are well worth it, because the cost down the road for contaminated water, no water, or contaminated land, the ecological cost will be insurmountable. So I'm asking first to put in a moratorium, and for buildings such as for anything over X number of acres, to make it legal. I mean, you guys have a legal team, so you know how to word it. And things that are needed are like making sure that the water studies are done, hydrological impact, ongoing, and put in place ongoing water monitoring and downstream water impacts. I know you're well aware of traffic and land use impacts. I'm sure you're aware of needing proof of long-term sustainable withdrawal without harming what they have done, because a lot of industries come in, they take, and they leave, and we're just left with a big mess. I would like to see retention ponds and things like that done on like a 500-year basis, not a 100. I mean, just, require things for industries that are going to be above a certain number of acres, require them to be just the maximum level of being held responsible that you can be. One of the things, again, my biggest concern is water, not just the WASI, not just the underground. But someone mentioned closed-loop systems. Well, closed-loop systems still use a lot of water. Air-cooled systems use the least amount of water at this time. You cannot demand somebody use an air-cooled system, but you can put in place use restrictions that say, any project by any industry requiring above X amount of water or X amount of electrical has to undergo special review and cost. So there are approaches to tighten the use on any industry wanting to come in and steal our very limited and fragile resources. So you can make it so that they are forced to build the most efficient water system and the most efficient electrical system. And again, you can exclude smaller companies, so you still have the small organizations coming in and they can build. It's the big ones we want to put those restrictions on. Water is the most important aspect, as I know I've said several times, but this is vital to our future. I mean, again, we already suffer droughts. So, and the ecological harm to the waterways and air water and using it up. So please put those restrictions. And thank you so much for your time. And thank you for looking at this.
Yes, sir.
Hey, my name is Tyler Ownby, and this is my gal. Good afternoon. There are multiple reasons why I'm here to speak. As are many others today, my concern, which I hope you share, is about harmful PFAS chemicals that are known to leach into the surrounding areas by data centers like the one very much aimed for our community. Whether they use two-phase cooling systems or need to purge the waste from time to time. Excuse me, I'm getting behind myself. Little anxious up here. So sorry. This is intense, doing the whole dad thing and this. Because I care much about this child, and what you guys are voting on and zoning for is this gal right here. So that's where my anxiety comes from, is knowing that if I didn't do something today, I'd be eating myself up over it. So I hope you do something today. Whether they use two-phase cooling systems that need to be purged, thank you, Ellie, or they are using water-based evaporative cooling, both are known to discharge chemicals. PFAS, known as forever chemicals, are called such because of the strong chemical bonds that they are making, and they are unable to break down naturally, okay? They remain toxic forever. On the other side of the state in Memphis, there's a lawsuit filed just 6 days ago about data center violating a Clean Air Act, which is a federal law. Data centers really don't care about the little people, okay? They care about this and what they can do with technology. PFAS emitted by these data centers have been known to affect pregnancy by affecting fetal development, the placenta's ability for the infant to fight infection, with your liver, pancreas, and testicular cancers. There's also one known as trifluoroacetic acid, which is highly water soluble that travels in the groundwater or through the air. Due to evaporation, potentially being carried to other regions. So the decisions that we make, the zoning restrictions that you make today, affect not only us, but the surrounding wildlife, you know, the state park that's right down the way. I've always been captivated by the beauty of our region, and I want my voice to stand against the dangers that threat poses. If zoning regulations are all that keep this data center from disrupting our way of life and local ecosystems, then I urge you to be aggressive in your requirements for zoning. Intense buffers, well over 2,000 feet, that's not even anything as the crow flies, come on. Intense buffers that keep the data centers away from current residential, school zones, and churches, as well as conditional use permits in case-by-case scrutiny with enforceable conditions, okay? If our county couples these CUPs with heavy industrial zone restrictions, not just industrial, heavy industrial zone restrictions, then we can potentially thwart interest in our area, which is my hope. If your stance truly aligns with this community, we'll see it in your stalwart defense through these zoning laws that match. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Donna Parker, and my husband and I located to Cleveland in Bradley County after he retired after 29 and a half years with the military, and we own a home in Bradley County. We have four grandchildren who have graduated from Walker Valley High School. I'm not going to go over and repeat about the problems with it, but one of the big questions is who pays for the infrastructure? You know, is it someone coming in? Is it the taxpayers that pay it up for the infrastructure? As it's been said, there's a lot of children, teachers. When this middle school gets built, we're looking at 3,000 people whose lives are going to be affected, as well as all of those who are currently attending the high school. I just want to make sure the County Commission has fully looked into the total cost, financial, health, quality of life, and other potential downsides to bringing in data centers. Bradley County Commission apparently has respect for Washington County, Tennessee, because of the example Washington County, Tennessee did in changing their wording. The Bradley County Planning Commission on November 10th talked about creating a zoning amendment for data centers using some of their wording. And on their January 15th meeting, they did make some changes. I think that kind of all brings us to where we are today. In Washington County, just weeks ago, last month, on March 23rd, Washington County Commissioners approved a one-year moratorium on all data centers in the county. I respectfully request that the commissioners of Bradley County follow suit and allow time, give ourselves a year to update all of these regulations and put a moratorium to have absolutely. So this would allow no building permits, nothing that can be done to move an ounce of dirt or to go into negotiations with the companies, the power companies around here, the water company, TVA, any of that. I think the residents of Bradley County need to know that you have put the interest of the citizens and the taxpayers first. Please vote to put a moratorium on any preliminary development plans, final development plans, or applications for building permits, no zoning approvals, no utility extensions, development agreements, or anything that has to do with any kind of data centers or AI operations. Anything that makes it closer to operating in Bradley County. Again, I'm asking for a 1-year moratorium while you do more research.
Commissioner Rogers, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Give me 1 sec. There's a gentleman in the back that just made it here. He actually gave me a speech for me to read, but since he's here, I would like to recognize him and allow him to present his speech and to be able to. He didn't know if he was going to be able to make it or not, so I do want to be able to give it to him.
I'm good. I'm good. I don't need
sure?
that. In the back, kind of hear me pretty good.
And also, real quick, after his speech, this also is a petition that was signed by
just over 800.
Over 800 people,
citizens
and I would
here
like
in
to put
Bradley
this
County.
into the minutes if you don't
That's
mind.
it's a little over 1,030 or so if you count some that are outside of Bradley County, but reducing that petition down to just Bradley County residents is just over 800. So what I wanted to say is, number one, to the community, I've never personally seen people fill up the hallway and fill up the lobby. Thank you, because this is awesome. I really wish we had this room at least full every meeting, because we've got to stay engaged. I think that would have eliminated a lot of confusion that was throughout the community about this. But to stay germane to what's at hand, that is the resolution proposing zoning regulations to do at least a portion of what everybody I've heard say. And I never dreamed I'd leave the Murfreesboro VA hospital at 11:05 a.m. and make it to Cleveland to speak. So y'all been sitting up there a long time, I know, because I drove the whole time and listened. It's my understanding, and you all, after I'm done, can tell me if I'm right or wrong, but in order to move forward today, after the public comments closed for this portion, you all get to move into discussion. You can change anything that you may have heard and then move forward to a vote. And then there's still a public comment at the end if anybody else has anything remaining to say, that because you all may be able to address most of the concerns, right?
Is that a question?
Yes.
That is the case, yes. Okay. And for clarity too, anything that is voted on today can also potentially go back through the Planning Commission and through this County Commission to be amended at a different time as well. This is the zoning resolution, and it has been amended many different times throughout the years as well. But yes, that is how it works today.
Okay, I just want to say thank you all for listening. I say this to several people that are both sitting up there and running for office. Most of our community just wants to feel like they're heard, and I think y'all have heard us today. And again, just thank you all, and thanks to the community. I appreciate everybody that's here.
Guys, I just want to echo the same thing, Andrew Dinsmore, District 2. And the biggest thing is that I've had no less, I currently want to fill one of these seats, and I have had no less than 100 people reach out to me this past weekend. And the biggest thing for me is that I came from work on my lunch break to sit here with everybody. I've never been prouder of District 2 for all showing up for this. The thing about it is that there's hundreds of other people that couldn't be here today. And the biggest thing that I wanted to say to echo everybody else's statement is that their voices matter too. I appreciate everything you do. I appreciate what the commission does. I understand it deeply. But this is something that District 2 does not want and wants to make sure that there are restrictions in place to make it that it's not going to come and not going to surprise. And that I echo everybody else's statement is that this is the best thing I've ever seen. Walk across the street and vote. because this is why we are all out here right now. Vote. So thank you. Thank you, guys.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Larry Nadeau. Excuse me. I live on Mouse Creek out in Charleston. And I want a number to stick in your head today, 8,820. That's the amount of hours that a child that will be attending the middle school, going into the high school at Walker Valley. That's the amount of hours that these kids are going to be exposed to over a course of a 7-year time frame if you put this center in there. And I'm going to just skip ahead to a couple of things that have already been addressed. I'd like to address the comments made about adding language to the county zoning regulations. I'm old school. I got to write everything down. I kind of disagree with the sentiments that are going on here today. I don't think a change of language, requirements, restrictions is the way to go. My position is that the commission has the tools in their toolbox to outright ban this. And, I forgot to put my glasses on. A small set of guidelines and restrictions is not what's needed in this situation. You got multi-billion-dollar corporations. They're going to run over any small speed bumps you put in their way, and they're just going to keep on coming. I believe this commission should be aggressive in their actions, pursuing a ban on this type of project now and forever. And minimum, a moratorium of 2 years for input, fact-finding, doing studies, but a ban, total ban, would be a better approach, in my opinion. I have seen it stated that a ban can't be done. I would like to see the documentation that covers that position, because I've done a couple hours worth of research last night on a computer and found that to be not to be the case. I mean, I have it right here. And there's plenty of precedent to ban this stuff. And if we're not worth the time that this commission can put into it, even if it involves litigation, so be it. This is a fight worth fighting. You know? Some paperwork's been put out there online that it's been conveyed that this site has been advertised as having a by right development, whatever the hell that means. I mean, what I want to know is, where did this language come from? Did somebody make this up? Did they just put it in their advertising brochures? We don't know. But there is also case law on by right that can be changed, as long as there are stipulations that no paperwork, no plans, no permits, things of that nature have not been issued. And I've been told over and over again that none of this has taken place. And I would like to know that this is a fact, but I really kind of don't believe all that. So this commission has lots of tools in their toolbox that they can use. We got your back. Use your tools. I mean, now is the time to act. Time is not our friend on this. If they go in and they file paperwork tomorrow, and you have not taken a vote to either ban or moratorium this, they are then covered on the by right exclusion. Okay, there's language out there that states this. Now, I'll close with this. I just have a couple of questions for this commission. Has anybody on this board signed an NDA with any entity regarding anything to do with this project or any other projects at this site?
No.
Because if you have, okay, you don't have to answer me. Okay, you
Sir,
really don't.
you said you had a question, so
It is a
I'll
question.
answer it. No, I haven't.
Okay. Yeah, and like I said, you don't have to reply to me, but I think a reply is warranted to your constituents. There's also state law in place that NDAs have no standing regarding information about transparency and accountability. Don't take my word for it. It's really easy to find. I'm not a strong computer guy. And at an AI meeting, that's kind of weird. But second question, we've been told that there has been no paperwork submitted. If that's the case, that our window is now, okay, to act upon this. And my final question would be, excuse me, who do I hold responsible to the damage done to my property value and being and my health over a period of time?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
you don't mind? Personally, for me, the NDA or anything like that, no.
Thank you.
Second question was, have they filed any paperwork?
Correct.
Bentley, you're the county planner. Has this property have any paperwork that has been filed regarding a data center or anything else? There's your third answer, or second answer, I apologize. And
So there is no third question at this point, you know. So the thing is time. This is about time. You all need to step on this and step on it now. You take a week and mull it over and think about it and go back and forth, and it could be too late. These folks could walk in the door tomorrow, slap a permit down, an application, and the by right is off the table. That's my position. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
May I say something? That you asked if we're going to do a vote. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, that's what we're trying to do. After y'all get done speaking, that's what we're going to vote on. We're going to vote on to put these regulations, these restrictions in. That's what we're wanting to do.
I think our general position is that those restrictions are not nearly strong enough. Yeah.
Okay.
My name is Melanie Irby. I'm just a mom, and I've got 2 young girls here that I homeschool, and this is an awesome demonstration of civic engagement. Thank you. I'll be quick. I want to just piggyback on everything that everybody said, except maybe go a little bit stronger. If you can moratorium for 1 year or 2 years, you could do it for 5 or 10 years. We don't want this in our community, and there are 0 positives to our community compared to the negatives, and the potential for health impacts to animals, to humans. And even if there were a handful of positives, it can't be weighed against the negatives to the human beings involved in this. And not just today, but for future generations. This is devastating to every community that it's ever been a part of and continues to be a part of. So please just exercise your fullest ability and just shut it down. Make it so regulatory heavy and it's so unattractive to even think about coming here. Just shut it down. You have the ability. Don't pansy. Never mind. Just sorry. Go so heavy on the regulations that there's just no way, no wiggle room, no amount of money or court proceedings that they could buy could get their way in. Just do it. Do it heavy. Do it right the first time. Make whatever adjustments you can right now. Get it done today. And just, yeah, thank you.
Ainsley Aki, I'm from Charleston, and I just have a quick question. The
mic.
I'm sorry, I feel like I'm eating the microphone right now. So quick question. The property was purchased, and I just have a hard time swallowing that a company is going to invest $25 million into something and just walk away because we said we don't like it. So I'm curious if we are aware of any kind of repercussions to the county or what have you for a company to invest with a certain expectation of permits or whatever. And then if we switch that, I don't mean to complicate it, but I think I don't know, that's just a question if that's something to be considering.
We can ask our attorney, Crystal.
So a company certainly does not have any known that I know of legal claim. You're not going to be heard. You're going to have to speak up loud Okay, I guess I can try to talk louder. A company does not have any legal right to be zoned any certain way. They don't have any legal right to do a certain thing unless they get our approval. So I'm not aware of any claim that they would have, even if they bought something. Bentley, as the planner, normally a large project, they will come to us first. And request approvals. They'll make sure they're zoned properly. They'll make sure they're in the right place. To my knowledge, that's never happened. So I'm not, now that you can have concerns if they come to us and they ask our permission, they ask where they're supposed to be zoned, and we engage in that process. But to my knowledge, that's not happened for any location or site for any centers currently.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate everything you're doing. But I've got one thing to think about that hadn't been addressed at all.
Your name, please, sir.
I'm Grant Perkle. We all appreciate technology. We all use technology. But again, how many of you guys bought a plasma TV when it was $10,000 when it first came out? Now it's changed. My point is, when technology changes as quickly as it does, what happens to this center? What happens to the property when they have to change it again? What's it going to be? We need to address that now, because once it's in, it can go to whatever. So just something to think about. Again, we appreciate you guys. Do the right thing.
Good afternoon. My name is Kelly Hogan, and I'm speaking on behalf of my family, specifically the health and safety of my 2-year-old son. Thank you for being proactive in your consideration and taking comments today. I want to start by acknowledging that you may not be making a simple yes or no decision on data centers today, but you are setting the terms under which they're allowed to operate here, and you have the ability to de-incentivize companies that are unwilling to work with and invest in the long-term future of Cleveland and Brindley County, and that responsibility matters. With that in mind, I want to focus on a few questions that I encourage you to address if you do go ahead with regulations. First, on grid reliability and electricity. How will a data center impact our local power grid during peak demand or extreme weather? And if upgrades are needed, who is contractually responsible for paying for those? Taxpayers or the company? On backup power and air quality, how often and who will be conducting inspections, and what are appropriate emissions levels on a collective scale, not just for this individual company? Will formal health impact assessments be conducted for nearby neighborhoods, and will those be made public so that we can all view them? Third, on water use. What is the allowable daily water consumption at full operation? And where exactly will that water come from? In a drought scenario, what guarantees do residents have that this facility won't compete with household needs? On noise and quality of life, what will the noise levels be at night at the property line? And how will those be monitored and enforced? If the operator exceeds those limits, what happens and who enforces it? And fifth, on emergency preparedness. Are our local fire and emergency services equipped today to handle a data center specific incident? If not, is the company funding additional training, equipment, or staffing to deal with an emergency scenario? And finally, long-term accountability. Given the public interest in this topic, will all agreements related to this type of project be made fully public? And will annual reporting on energy use, water use, and community impact be available to residents who can verify what's actually happening over time? And finally, what real enforcement action can be done, as mentioned by those preceding me, to a facility of this magnitude when restrictions are not met? I hope I've given you at least a couple questions to ponder today. And again, on behalf of my son, I take this very seriously, and I appreciate your time and consideration. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kay Fiorello, 6th District. So I don't really have any concern about the current data center, but future. Kay Fiorello, 6th District. Not really concerned right now about a single data center, but overall future. You have the chance this time to change what's been happening in the county right now with the growth, is to implement impact. All right. I'd like to see you go back to zoning and say, I want impact fees for what they're going to do. I want to see impact fees for the load on the wastewater treatment plant that currently half the residents can't even use because we're on sewer. This place is going to have to get some water. Sorry, my screen went to dead. But impact fees is something we haven't done in this county. If you look around at the other counties that have finally slowed the growth down, impact fees are needed. We need to be able to pay our fire. We need to be able to pay our police what they're worth. We need to consider that impact fees, if they've got $22 million for the land, they've got money to pay fees to put in infrastructure, to put in the roads, and to maintain everything that they're going to be putting in. And that's just not for here, but it's for everywhere else. I understand people don't want it, but right now the decision is based on zoning. You need to go back, please, to zoning and tell them you need to put in more strict rules and more impact. Thank you.
Commissioner Gilbert, please.
Commissioner Rogers, can you elaborate on what you have already put in this zoning? Just some of the things that y'all have worked on to put in.
Once the public hearing is closed, and the motion is made, yes.
Okay.
I can't answer based on public meeting rules and laws. I cannot answer the questions from you. I would have to answer a question from the general public.
Thank you.
Sorry, but that's just how the rules work. So I answered this gentleman's questions earlier. So if there's questions, I definitely can. But it is all available on the agenda packet to be able to read. So.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Allison Craig. I'm a class of 2025 Walker Valley alumni, and I'm currently in college for environmental science. So I think I'm well educated on the subject. I know that you guys have already heard several perspectives today about the negative impacts and repercussions of this. And I could repeat those for you guys, but I'm sure that, you're all pondering about it a little bit, at least. But let me tell you a perspective that you might have not thought of. I mentioned a second ago that I'm an environmental science major, and part of the reason being is because when I went to Walker Valley, they had an outdoor adventures class, and part of the lands surrounding Walker Valley are what we were granted permission to go and explore on to help us get invested in the environment around us. There are tons of natural occurring species out there, okay? All right? So that's something to think about. I wouldn't be where I was today if it wasn't for that class. And so the fact that that property and that land would be taken away from the students of Walker Valley, such as myself, that are interested in environmental issues, is outright a disgrace, in my opinion. I'm sure some of you can agree. Have you guys even thought about looking into the impact of any native species in their surrounding areas? Have you really? Because that's something to ponder on. Think about the well-being of students, and I know several other people have elaborated on that, but let me elaborate on that more. There's already enough noise pollution, and the water tastes terrible there, by the way, already, so there's something to think about. I don't know, I just kind of think that this is a little bit ridiculous that you guys would allow that there. You're impacting future generations, There's several kids out here. I'm sure some of you guys have kids. You really want your children to be surrounded by that?
Is that a question?
No.
It's not, because I would like to answer it if it's a question.
Go ahead.
Thank you. No, obviously. I have children that we homeschool, but we will be going to county schools soon. And my kids will most likely end up at Walker Valley. Okay? The restriction, I want there to be a clear understanding to your question. Okay? With no restrictions in place and no guidelines or guardrails in place, even if there is a moratorium or a outright ban, those things can still go to court, right? Those things can still happen and go to court. By having restrictions, by having this resolution go through, which again, once we bring it out of the public and bring it up here, things can be added to it and changed. So that is something that needs to, once it comes back up here at some point, right? So those are the different things that can happen. With no restrictions and no guidelines and no definitions in our code as we speak right now, whether it is a proposed or this potential plot of, I'm trying to be careful, right? Here, or whether it is in, the lady that spoke earlier said she was in the 6th district or the 1st or the 2nd or anywhere, someone could walk right down this street right here, right this second, and pull paperwork. And guess what? Everything that you're asking for, everything that you're talking about, everything that people want to see done would not be able to be happening. So to have rules and regulations and things in place, that's why we talked about how our zoning resolution of Bradley County, this was last revised through 2022 is when I have, it could be updated since then, but 2022 needs to be looked at, needs to be gone through, needs to be updated, and can be amended. But as we speak right now, and like in my statement earlier that I read earlier, right now we have nothing in our zoning ordinances. And any operation, whether it's cryptocurrency mining or AI data, I know that's the big topic here today, or anything else, could come into any commercial or industrial zoning, and that wouldn't affect these people, your county commissioners, your elected officials. That would have to go, and if there was an issue with it, it would go to the Board of Zoning Appeals. So it's all these different steps. So, but to answer your question, yes. Like, we don't, like, I, as a father of 3 daughters, no, like, I do this job and I ran for this position, not just for me, or as some have mentioned here today, and please, like, my wife would tell me just to stop now, but I don't do this for financial gain. I promise you. Out of all the commissioners up here, I'm the one that pays to be a county commissioner. I have family insurance. I've got 3 daughters, so I pay $38 a month to be able to have health insurance, to cover it, to be able to sit up here and do this job. I do this because I have a 12-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 3-year-old that I love, and I want them to live in this county, and I want them to see this county grow and be good, but under our county's terms. So to answer your question, that would be my answer.
Can I just add one more thing?
Yes, ma'am.
On behalf of most of the people in this room, I'm guessing we don't want to see restrictions. We just don't want to see it, period.
So, is that a question?
No, just something to ponder on, I guess.
So, well, I will wait then to speak back to that if you don't mind.
Just ponder, guys. Just ponder.
Hey there. I'm Terry Williams Murray, and I've lived in this county my whole life. I've lived in the 2nd District my whole life, and I really am concerned about what might happen to it. But I want to first say thank you for having the foresight to bring it to light and to actually try to be doing something for us. I have a daughter, a son-in-law, and 2 grandbabies that are the best in the whole world that live in the district. And I'm concerned my grandson will be going to Walker Valley next year. But one group of kids that we're leaving out is the Charleston Elementary group. We have pre-K through 5 at Charleston. Guys, it's going to impact from pre-K up. So just think about that. But thanks for all your foresight to bring it to the community, to bring it out to where you are going to do something about it, that you can. And I appreciate the job that you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
If your subject area covers items that have previously been discussed, please consider moving along with what you have to say. We're going to vote on this sometime today, and that's the purpose of the meeting, is to get this thing passed. If it's delayed and we don't vote it in today, and everybody wants all of this stuff, it goes to the Planning Commission to their next meeting, which might be 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Then it comes back to the work session. Then it comes back to the voting session, and you're talking about a 2-month delay probably. So what we'd like to do is get this taken care of, but please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me see if I can reach the mic first. My name is Cassandra. I moved here from California in 2006. And the first thing I noticed about Cleveland was the city of spirit, how proud every single one is of living here. I've seen what big corporations can do to small cities. They crush it. I know every one of you, as soon as I said California, you had a little giggle in your head. You're like, oh, Lordy. Oh, my goodness, they're invading. We came here for opportunity, for community, for family. And ever since this proposal of zoning, we do understand the terminology and the verbiage. You're upset that we're using different verbiage. We're confused by your verbiage. The biggest thing is it's been a roller coaster since we found out about this. I wanted to scream. I'm about to cry. I wanted to yell at the rooftops. And all of you have great poker faces. Great poker faces. So I came in here jubilated, seeing every single one of these people as outraged as I was. And I've seen one person, Mr. Rogers, speak up to us. I've seen a couple people yawn. I've seen you get irritated at us repeating ourselves. But I feel like we need to repeat ourselves because we're just so frustrated. We are so irritated that we are constantly being bulldozed by legal jargon. If this is something that we can prevent, and again, take care of our community, because Cleveland is stunning. Have you ever been to California? I don't think they know what trees are. You guys actually protect those things. You guys build around those things. Since I moved in 2006, I'm not going to talk about how Paul Huff looks. Oh, amen. Amen. My goodness.
That's the city.
Okay, touche. Sorry. Okay, whichever district, Paul Huff, get it together.
That's city government.
Touche. But again, I'm going to sum it up because I'm not going to put facts. I'm not going to do this. I look at every single one of you, and your poker faces are amazing. I just want you to see the shaking, feel the passion that is in this room right now with your vote. Yes, on regulations. Yes, on zoning. However, this is too broad. This is too up in the air. We need to take care of this now, because I promise you, when you guys vote, your grandchildren, your babies, everyone around you's got to remember how you vote and how you took care of us. Thank you again so much for your time.
I wasn't planning on speaking today. I'm Joanna. I'm from the 1st District. I've been here once before. I, too, am from California. And I love Bradley County because of the freedom, not having so many regulations. That's one of the greatest things. That's also why somebody, I think, would come in and say, oh, I can spend $22 million here because their planning commission doesn't do anything. They can let you do whatever you want. We'll run right over them. There's no regulations, which is great because, there's no regulations. We can do what we want. But there are regulations. You have to enforce them. So what is the enforcement? So if you go through these regulations, you put these in place. My question is are they really enough? So if you're saying, yes, this is where our starting spot is. Like, great, we're doing some minor regulations so that we can say no to a project. We have to have a place for it. I understand the need for regulation, broad regulation, narrow regulation. I like the idea of a moratorium because we don't know what we don't know. We don't even know the long-term impacts of any of these plants because they've not existed long enough. Why are we rushing into any of this? What is the problem with putting out the regulations, if that's what you feel you need to do, and then also putting in a moratorium until we have some answers? How many of you have ever visited one of these existing data centers? Are you able to answer that? Have you visited a data center?
Yes. Crypto mining facilities, yeah.
Okay. How many of the rest of you have actually attended and gone to the location? Like she said, in California, would you even recognize what a tree is that wasn't planted? Like, they actually grow naturally here. It's kind of amazing. I mean, over the sagebrush. Do you know what grows in California? Houses. Like they are growing here. You guys are so easy to change your zoning. We just had a massive vote. And I don't know the details of it. I don't know if it was a good project, a bad project. All I know is watching the farmland and the forests and the agricultural properties. I'm on the District 1. I drive up Free Will Road, and oh my goodness, instead of grass, we have houses growing close together. I'm not opposed to all construction. I'm not opposed to all of that. It's responsible. I know the impact on fire, schools, laws, dog regulations. Can you have chickens? I mean, ridiculous, because your neighbor doesn't like them. But when you're only 5 feet from your neighbor, it matters. When an industrial complex of any kind, data center or otherwise, uses up all the water, what are you doing? I think there's just not enough information. I'm not going to repeat everything everyone's already said because a ton of valid points have come. Banning them completely, like the gentleman said, isn't the worst idea ever, in my opinion. I did want to read one thing to remind you all of how we started with a prayer. Timothy 6:10, for the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. It is through this craving that some have wandered away from the faith and pierced themselves with many pangs. What is your love of money and growth doing? How is that affecting your choices? Is your love of people and your love of God, if you're a believer, impacted by this project? How is that bringing glory to God and the people that you love? Each and every one of you. Gary Davis, Daniel Beatty, Mike Hughes,
Ma'am.
Louis Elford,
Mr. Chairman.
Mylan Blake, Dennis
Point
Collins,
of order.
Chairman,
Ma'am.
Mason.
You have to address this as a whole, not individually. It's the rules of the commission.
I apologize.
No worries.
So each and every one of you, I will leave off and look you each in the eye. Without stating your name as a whole, from all of the districts. This is on you. This is your time, like many have said. Is it enough? And do you feel that the choice that you make today, that you are fully informed on how this is not going to only affect you, your neighbors, your kids, your grandkids, and your great-grandchildren to the second generation? Thank you for your time.
I'll be short and sweet. I've been an occupational therapist assistant in the school systems for 8 years now. In those 8 years, we've seen a dramatic increase in autism and developmental delays and many other situations with our children. We're talking about an AI plant that would be planted directly by our schools. We have no idea what the outcome of that will be after many years. Right now, and I've written something down, data centers are facing scrutiny over potential cancer risks linked to localized air pollution, increased cancer, increased miscarriages because of all the pollution coming from the AI facilities. And I'll be short and sweet. I just want to ask you, our children at these schools are in their formative years. Is it worth the risk to them when we don't know enough about these AI centers? And whether you are children, whether you're a Christian or not, you're all children of God. And I just want to ask you, is it worth the risk? It's not.
Hello, I'm Joshua Good. I'm a property owner in District 3. I believe for any project, no matter whether it's a data center, anything of scale, we should always, of course, be focused on protecting our air, water, people, and our overall environment. I don't have any question against that. My concerns would be about the language currently in the regulations, whether you're for, against, wanting to add new. There are data centers of all sizes. Technically, to industry standards, I have a data center in my home. I've worked for many companies in Chattanooga where everyone had a data center. So with this language, you must consider the scale. The ones that we're talking about broadly, the more dangerous ones. And a lot of that information can be debated. I agree we have to put some restrictions and prevent harm to our community. But these are massive. The ones that people are talking about very broadly, the type of restrictions that could apply should be scoped to these massive operations. If a company wants to come in and say, hey, I'm putting in a data center to host your county website, the streaming that people are watching at home, all of that is powered by a data center. It's not one of these big ones. It's going to be one that's maybe a quarter of the size of this room. I know there's language in there regarding crypto mining and not impacting personal that, but there are companies that will want to come here that are not going to be doing AI. They're not going to be doing crypto mining. They're going to want a data center to serve the community, to serve themselves, and we cannot keep those people out.
So, to answer that,
yeah.
So, under Section 80 of the definition of terms, is a data center is considered a dedicated facility housing vast amounts of IT infrastructure. So, if you have a personal business, take one of the local businesses here in town that might have a server or a data room or whatever, that it would not be considered underneath that.
And I think it's just good to be very clear about that.
Yeah.
Any type of language, even defining what vast means. If we do server counts, microservers that could quickly add up to tens of thousands in just for a small organization. So a lot of that needs to be considered in any kind of ban.
It also includes server farms and server clusters as well.
Server clusters, again, those would, and technology will change. The numbers around those will change. They'll grow, they'll condense. But we really have to be careful to not prevent legitimate businesses, those that are not going to cause some of the harms that people are worried about. We don't want to prevent them from coming and be able to operate here. So when it comes to potential bans, when it comes to this regulation, just please keep the small business and the small industry in mind.
Hello. My name is Dakota Dillon, and I've heard a lot of people talk today about saying that the regulations just are not tight enough and that we should look more towards preventing large-scale data centers and crypto mining from coming to Bradley County whatsoever. And it seems that my question is to you, what is it that makes a ban versus tight regulation different? I mean, is it easier to get around an outright ban, or is it something that tight regulation would better handle?
I can allow our lawyer to speak to that since she's here, and I'll let her answer that question.
Yes. Okay. That seems to be the $1 million question. The way you put it is very correct. if you try to do an outright ban on business, zoning regulations are in place and you have to fit businesses in a zone. And if you don't do that, you are constitutionally suspect. You will be sued, and you
Right.
most
That was
likely
my
will lose.
that was my suspicion.
Yes. So what a community can do is you can regulate something in the best interest of public health, wellness, quality of life, public welfare. You can have regulations that are strictly related to those things and can protect the community. You cannot just say we don't like this
Right.
type of business.
Right, and that's the thing that I think a lot of the people who were speaking today didn't grasp the idea of there's no way to really just ban them. However, the regulations need to be tight enough to make it unattractive to come to these places near our schools, near our communities. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Blaine Sullivan. I lived in Cleveland for 3 years and moved to Birchwood, Tennessee, but I worked here for a long time. I'm an assistant teacher actually at the Montessori school right over here at the Allen Jones complex. And I just want to raise awareness for the fact that we always have energy crisis with VEC, no matter where VEC is. I know lots of people that live around the area. Every summer comes around, always an energy crisis. They're sending me emails. My power flickers probably 4 or 5 times every week and goes out for hours, hours like upon the day sometimes for no reason at all. And they're always sending us emails, cut down on your energy, cut down on your energy. My next door neighbor literally works for TVA. And he's like, the nuclear reactors are overworking all the time, especially in the summer. And you can see them literally steaming. I have some of my kids come to school some days and they're like, we see these nuclear facilities steaming like crazy. And I'm like, oh yeah, I know they didn't used to do it like all the time, like in the summer, like they used to. So my question is just like, if we start letting these places in, you know, like some of the others have concern, I wanted to voice my concern too. Like what happens with our power, you know, like everybody's so concerned about the energy and the water and the air pollution. And we need to really, really, really think. We need to really think, are we actually awake right now? Are we actually awake to the things going on around us? I'm not one for politics. I think they're, these days, 2 wings of the same bird. And I don't think that we make many changes at the top of the top, but I think that every one of you, ladies and gentlemen right here, I think that there's a lot of people that have a lot of heart right here, and we're looking for some of y'all to take a step forward, make a great decision, and you have multiple people out here in the audience that will take a step with you. No matter if you say no and these people want to still come in here and they want to cause trouble, we'll take a step with you. Because I know one person who is the holder of wrath, and he's up in the heavens, okay? And we need to stand for what is right. I'm not scared any longer to step on toes because there's so much stuff that everybody just needs to wake up to around us that we are so asleep on. So many things. This is just one little minimal problem. What happened to human intelligence? We're talking about artificial intelligence. What happened to our human intelligence? This is a blatant, like, easy thing to realize that this is a bad idea to let any kind of thing like this come into our county. It's very simple to see it if you just have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. And I am for every one of you people in this local government because I do believe that there's still people in the local government that can change. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Afternoon. My name's Allie Oliver, and I live right on the edge of Cleveland and Charleston, around maybe 5 minutes away from Walker Valley and where that center will be. A lot of people have talked about the farmland, agriculture, livestock, pets, just the overall health of that. But a lot of people don't think about the health it will cause on us. I'd like to think about the community in Memphis, around Boxtown in South Memphis, that was affected by the X data center. That center alone has released a bunch of methane gases, nitrous oxides, and formaldehydes in the water, in the airways. A lot of the buildings and houses around that area do not have water. They cannot get water, and their water is brown. Water should not be brown. So it affects everything in the local area. But these chemicals can affect us humans in the long term. We're talking about respiratory, cardiac, asthma, all these kinds of fun diseases that we do not want. And if we welcome this kind of thing to have these kinds of diseases affect us, hospital doors better be open pretty wide for those that will need it. But with that being said, that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay. My name is Jennifer Norman, and I've never been to one of these meetings, and I decided today I just wanted to speak. Bear with me. I'm operating from the perspective that every person here wants what's best for all the residents in Bradley County. So with that perspective, I have two questions specifically about the zoning. If the vote is a no to the zoning regulations as they are currently written today, are you able to go back to the drawing board to create or even just amend the current regulations so that they adequately protect us from the potential of a data center or crypto mining facility, et cetera? And if so, what would that process look like? So that's my first, combo question.
So,
Do you want me to rephrase it?
no, I'm just trying to figure out how to say it properly. Once this public hearing closes, we will bring this resolution back to us,
Okay.
the one that I have put before us, but we
Yes.
don't even have a motion or a second yet, right? So
Okay.
we have the resolution that is in our packet.
Yes.
At that point in time, any of the 14 commissioners up here could offer a substitute motion to make changes to that.
So those changes, could they to make add certain things to it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now, if we sit here and say we're going to table it, that basically means that we kill it. Like
Okay.
that, it doesn't ever happen. Not the data center or whatever, the rules and regulations. And
Yeah.
remember, too, because we are not voting on a specific piece of property or a specific business.
It's the zoning.
We are voting on the rules and the regulations about how any of these businesses would potentially operate in Bradley County. So we can table it, that basically nothing happens ever with it, or we could send it back to the Planning Commission, which we had our meeting last week, which would be another month plus a 30-day notice. So then it would be 60 days with nothing on the books, which would give which would give, thank you,
Yeah.
which would give anyone who owns a data center company in the entire world the ability to put a data center company in Bradley County.
Are we worried about that in the next 2 months?
I mean,
Okay. Yeah. That's what I figured. So yeah, that was the question. So if the vote is yes, and let's say a company decides they want to continue, like, all right, we see your regulations, let's continue. Can we add amendments or regulations after they submit permits, or no?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Okay. So yes, we can always add amendments to things, but it would depend on what time the company decided to pull. Like whenever they decided to start operation, they would not, it would be for future.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Right, Bentley? Whatever is on the books at the time.
Okay.
When they pull permits.
Yeah. I had more things I wanted to say, but everybody, I think, has already said that.
Yeah, so-
thank you all for
yeah.
listening to us.
Thank you, Commission. It's hard to get to a microphone when you're this tall. My name's Jeff Zierenberg, and I live at Letha Lane in Walker Valley up in District 2. Mine's not a comment so much about what has been said about the data centers, but about a comment that was shared by the Commission that we have to get through all of our comments so that you can be able to have your other Commission hearing and then come back. And if this doesn't go to vote, then this thing could be delayed by a period of time. Unacceptable. As a business professional, if I had a mission critical issue in my business, I'd be at work till 11, 12, 2 in the morning, didn't matter. All the rest of the executives on my team would be the same. The lady who spoke about her farm, I bet she was out with her cattle in the field till 1, 2 a.m. taking care of stuff. The mother taking care of her sick child, and you guys just want to make dinner? All these people here probably some vacation, time away from their businesses, time away from their families. So I would consider just a protocol and process that you guys do what it takes to get to a decision to go on record by close of business today at 12 midnight to get this thing done.
Would you mind me to respond to that?
Oh, I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
What was stated and what is meant is that this is currently a public hearing. So we as county commissioners cannot discuss and have open discussion in front of you about this during the public meeting. So the public meeting has to be closed for us to even have the resolution, get a motion and sorry, public hearing. I apologize. Let me correct my language. A public hearing for us to be able to have that discussion. We have to have a motion and a second, which we do not have yet on this. So we're having a public hearing. Once the public hearing is closed, then by our rules and regulations, then we're able to discuss amongst the commissioners.
I appreciate that clarity because as I heard it, it sounded like a push off.
No, sir.
So
we're waiting to be able to discuss it as well.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Wait just a minute. Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
this is an opportunity for you all to speak, not us. So what we've been doing, and somebody's saying we look like we're bored, we're listening. We're listening to what's been said and what's being said. We appreciate what you're being here. We have action to do as soon as you're finished talking. Then we're going to do what we need to do.
Outstanding. That's all we ask.
This is not a Q&A time for us. This is a time for us to hear from you.
Yeah. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Good Lord, we're in hell.
Good afternoon. My name is Cherie Guy, and I live on the farm right behind where this is planned to be built, or what they're thinking about. I can't read what I brought up here to read because I had my sunglasses on, because if I don't have those, I can't read. So I'm going to hand this off to one of you, but it basically says, yes, we can ban, and you can ban them from coming. And I want to bring something else up to the forefront. And I know we're not talking about them today, but we're talking about things in the environment and what it's doing to the community and everything. And we might have needed to look at Walker a little harder. I mean, we allowed Walker to come in, and it was going to create so many jobs. And then in the end, not long ago, they laid off 600 employees. And so they've already started laying those people off, but we still have Walker. We have a German company that owns U.S. soil. We also live where a company blew up and almost blew my windows out. But they said it was steam. And that's okay. Maybe it was steam. But what if it wasn't? The other day, I was outside working again on the farm, and it come through for everyone to get indoors on my phone. And so I thought, well, do I go or do I stay? I got some work I got to get done. So after a while, I decided to go inside. Then I got to thinking, wonder what's going on over at the school. The school went for a good long time without being notified. There was no sirens, there was nothing. And some of the kids were outside going to their cars and nobody knew anything. Well, it wasn't anything they said that would hurt us, but what if, that's my question to you, what if it was one of your children, grandchildren, and they had breathed in and they were all dead? We only have so much space. Are you going to allow anyone to come in and take that space up? That's all I have.
I'm David Ito. I'm a senior at Walker Valley High School, and I'm not here to talk about any of the environmental effects, but I will say that I just turned 18, and I just registered to vote, and there are many people who go to my school, other schools in the district, who are just about to start voting in local elections, and this decision to either uphold the regulations or change them will affect how my generation views Bradley County and how we will start voting and how we will start speaking to each other. Because this meeting has been talked about all the time at school. Everyone's talking about it. And I think it's important to realize that this decision is not only affecting the subject at hand, but also how my generation will view the county going forward. Thank you.
Everyone, have we got to the end? Great. The public hearing is now closed. Mr. Rogers, or Commissioner Rogers, back to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a resolution to amend the Bradley County zoning resolution and add definitions and regulations pertaining to cryptocurrency mining and data centers, and to include cryptocurrency mining and data centers as a use permitted in the I-1 General Industrial District. I place this in form of a motion.
Thank you. Second. Second, okay. Commissioner Alford.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Mr. Chairman, residents of this second district have taken time to share their concerns with me about the potential development of data centers in Bradley County. I share these concerns. They include noise, possible air pollution, heavy demand for facilities that can place our power and our water system. These are real issues that could affect the daily lives of our citizens. I also want to clear about what is before us today. This is not a vote for a specific data center project. This is a vote on whether we put rules in place to guide and regulate these types of facilities in the future. Right now, we do not have specific zoning rules or data centers that mean if someone applies today, it could be approved under the existing zoning district that was not designed for this use and does not include safeguards for these impacts. I believe we can do better. While the Planning Commission is recommending allowing data centers in the I-1 General Industrial District, it is our responsibility to decide if that level of regulations is strong enough. I believe we need more careful approach. I also recognize the county does not have the legal authority to completely prohibit data centers. Because of that, it is even more important that we put the right framework in place now to protect our community. The I-2 Special Impact Industrial District is intended for uses that may have greater impact on surrounding areas. It includes stronger standards such as larger property requirements, greater setbacks, noise consideration, and requirements related to infrastructure like power supply and water. I believe we should also thoroughly protect our existing homes, schools, churches by requiring a minimum distance for establishment. This adds protection, make I-2 a more appropriate place for cryptocurrency mining and data centers. It is for these reasons that I offer a substitute motion to amend the county zoning regulations to permit these uses only within the I-2 Pacific Impact Industry District and shall not be located adjacent to or within 3,000 feet of any FAR, R1, or R2 zoning distance, nor within 3,000 feet of any existing residence dwelling, school, or church. I place that in the form of substitute motion, Mr. Chair.
Second.
First and a second open for discussion. Commissioner Blake.
Crystal, a couple of technical questions on that. We getting ready to vote on Commissioner Alford's substitute motion, which is basically he's taking all of the original motion and then adding some more language to it, right? So it doesn't wipe out anything before, right? Or does it?
Well, I mean, the way I understand he's presenting it, it's instead of the one that's in your packet, it's basically substituting the revised version, which hopefully, do they all have this? Yeah. That's my understanding, that he's substituting the entire old document for this entire new, is that right, Commissioner Alford? So, yes.
So it's everything that we've had for the last week and more?
Yes.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, I guess so, but it's this version is what you're looking at as opposed to the version in your packet.
Anyone else?
Maybe, no. So all the A, B, C, D, E, F that we have in here are all included in his substitute motion, and he's adding to it, right?
Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question. I thought, so
I mean,
yes.
we're adding more.
We're adding, absolutely, yes.
And the part about the FAR, can you elaborate on that a little bit?
That would be farming, rural district, that's where your farms are
Which
located.
is 99% of Bradley County. So
Yes.
if you're looking, you've heard a couple of people say they would like for us to outright ban. We know why and you articulated why we have a county commission, a neighboring county that's in federal court, because they did do that.
That is correct,
And
yes.
then they're
that's
right-
also in Tennessee as well.
And they're risking that the judge rules in the wrong way, and we don't want that. So this basically, in a way, makes it like 99.9. You can round it up, almost impossible.
I'm not going to answer
You're
that.
not going to answer. You're not going to answer that. I didn't mean to put you in a spot, but I mean they've been here for 2.5 hours or whatever. They deserve to know that. Then the last thing I want to say, because we could not chat. No, I have not in any way, shape, or form. I don't know how the best Southern English I can signed, agreed to any NDA or anything like that. All right, thanks.
I can say that as we sit now for everyone to understand the difference between the original version, which is I-1 and I-2, they are different in the sense that if you look at a zoning map, and anybody can pull our zoning map, you can see where things are located. There is only one piece of property that's currently zoned I-2, and that's the landfill. So any other property that would wish to be zoned I-2 would need to seek rezoning and go through that process in order to get that property rezoned.
So a procedural thing then. As soon as we vote, normally what happens is the county clerk will call the roll, she'll tally, she'll report the results, and then Chairman Cry will sign the resolution, Mayor Davis will sign it. Does it go into effect at that point in time?
Yes. The resolution would go into effect as soon. If you look at the very last sentence, it says, "Be it further resolved that this resolution shall become effective upon adoption and public welfare requiring it." So as soon as we vote and this commission votes to approve this resolution, it would become effective. So if someone comes to Bentley's office at that point, this resolution would apply.
So basically today the resolution goes into effect.
If it's approved, yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Want a pen?
Mr. Chairman.
Let's go on my
Need a
right
pen.
first, and I'll get you, sir. Commissioner Hughes.
Crystal, may I ask a question? One of the questions that came up was about impact fees. Can we and should we? I don't know. I don't know that we even can.
Yeah, it is extremely limited. We can talk about that, but yes, it's extremely limited, the ability to do impact fees.
Thank you. I was just curious. And for the gentleman that was asking the question, no, and nor have I ever, or would I.
Commissioner
Mr. Chairman, I guess this is a time for us all to say that we know nothing about this event. In our last meeting here, I asked, what is it and why do we need it? So I think all of us at this table, we were surprised as you when you all started hearing all this stuff. That's when we started hearing all this stuff. So I have not been a part of any of this prior action. And I do want to ask one question. This is the most stringent we can do without actually doing a banning. I think we've done our business tonight. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anything else?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Just one thing real quick. I do want to mention a couple of things. So everyone is aware, we have multiple different zonings, R1, R2, FAR, C1, C2, I1, and I2. Correct, Bentley? Is that all of them? I believe so. And PUD, but that's FAR is forestry, agriculture, and residential. So as an FAR zone, you're allowed to have a single family home on there, like the people who live next door. Also, people who live within the community. So I think this protects, and I want to commend Commissioner Alford for adding FAR to this. I also want to commend Commissioner Alford for adding their school restrictions as well and housing restrictions. And I do want to mention too that there's a lady here, and I think I saw her walk out, but she was talking about the noise and the whining of the sound. And as I understand how it works, and it is, when these things run at full decibel level, the average of them runs around 140 decibels. Okay? The restriction in this document says 60 decibels. So you're aware of what 60 decibels is. If you go to Starbucks on a busy day while all the kids are trying to get to Bradley Central down here, that is about what the sound of 60 decibels is. It's a conversational decibel level. So there are multiple different things in here. That stayed the same. Everything stayed the same. And another big thing too is that it also includes the cargo containers, railroad cars, semi trucks, and trailers, especially on the crypto side, to where they cannot be pulled in and out if and whenever this does take place, if they are able to have the rezoning from I1 to I2 or anything like that. So other than that, Mr. Chairman, I just want to say thank you to Bentley and the entire team. I know Janie's here. So thank you for all you've done, and all the other planning commissioners as well that have been here as well. And Bentley, thank you to your entire team. Other than that, Mr. Chairman, that's all I have.
Commissioner Gilbert.
Mr. Chairman, I just think it's fair to let all the commissioners say that they have not signed an NDA. I have not signed one. Any of the other commissioners?
Let me start. I know some have said they haven't already, but let me start with Commissioner Winters on the left, and each commissioner say yay or nay. There's nothing wrong if you have signed one. I wouldn't do it, but go ahead, sir.
I have never signed an NDA.
I don't even know what an NDA is.
Commissioner Rogers, please.
Mr. Chairman, I have said earlier to the gentleman, and very vocally and loudly so, have not signed an NDA for this facility or any others in Bradley County. I will say that.
Commissioner Ledford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have not signed an MBA.
NDA.
NDA, sorry.
Commissioners.
Didn't sign for basketball either.
Yeah, NDA.
Commissioner Slater, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have not, nor would I sign an NDA for this type of facility ever.
Commissioner Goins.
I have not signed a DNA or NDNA, and I'm not, and I don't even know what one is really, to be honest.
Commissioner Thompson.
Thank you.
I have not, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Gilbert.
I have not signed an NDA.
I have not signed one myself, neither would I ever consider signing one for what we're talking about here today. Commissioner Mason.
I have not signed an NDA either. My wife is a school teacher at Charleston Elementary, so I'm very against something like this. So thank you.
Commissioner Collins?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have not, and I thank you to Commissioner Alford for the 3,000 feet, because as a former educator at Walker Valley High School, and I have students and children at Walker Valley High School, I appreciate that, because that will go a long way in helping that. Thank you, Mr. Alford.
Commissioner Blake?
I've already answered it, but I'll answer it again. No, I have not in any way, shape, or form.
Commissioner Alford?
Just being an old dumb football coach, I don't even know what one is. So I know I could never sign it. Thank you.
Commissioner Hughes?
I've already answered it, but no, I have not, nor would I. And no way in the future would I ever even look at some sign like that. So.
Commissioner Beatty?
No, I haven't signed the NDA.
Okay, that should answer that question. None of us have ever participated
Hey, Mr. Chairman,
in it.
they're going to be whispering, asking about me, so can I go ahead and answer?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I have not signed an NDA, but instead have been working feverishly to be proactive, to bring steps to this commission to prevent what we've been talking about here all day. Thank you.
We have been discussing Commissioner Alford's substitute motion. Is there any additional discussion?
Mr. Chairman, can I say one thing at the end? I've had several people that called me, and I have confidence in this procedure that we've done. People think the government just makes decisions on their own and hides. And we get some that come to this meeting and almost accuse us of that. We don't do that. We have procedures in place, and what you've seen today is the committees that work, that are appointed. Somebody said, how can the Planning Commission make this decision? I said, they've made their part of this decision. They've been appointed to make this decision. But then it has to come to us, because we are the elected people for the 7 districts to make these kind of heavy decisions at the end. And we have constituents that we are responsible to. That's why you're here. So this whole process is how government works. We were surprised and hit with it as fast as you were for many years. I didn't know there was any of this contact that was happening out there. Most of us did not know that. This committee, the Planning Commission, as soon as they got this, started moving on that. We could not move on that till they had made their decision, and Josh has presented that very well today. But from that, we have to sit back and wait until that's presented before we get involved, because we have to learn it as well. But then we have to respond for you, the electorate that provides us where the seats that we set. So we've all worked together on this today. You spent all of these hours to sit here and watch us watch you as your own people shared to us their heart. And hopefully we've done what government's supposed to do, is to hear from their people and make a rational decision that can be dealt with out in the public from now on. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other discussion?
One last question. Crystal, this is the one that I think also is on everyone's mind, and that is, you heard the comment that somebody wouldn't spend $22 million unless they kind of knew what was going to happen, right? So, and we have had a situation where someone purchased land and they had an idea of what they wanted, and then they came to us for rezoning, and we denied rezoning, and they were out of luck. I'll be nice about it, right? So if there has been a transaction, so be it. But rezoning, as I asked you a few minutes ago, is getting ready to go into effect. Well, we don't.
Yes.
But in other words, it could be that someone purchased and a transaction took place, and they're out of luck.
Well, you certainly, as a county, can be sued if you request rezoning and you get denied, but we've not approved anything. That's the point I was making earlier, is that to my knowledge, and it's Bentley's department, nothing has been submitted. So the county has not taken any action to prohibit anything. We today have taken action based on just general regulations, but we've not taken any action. So no, I'm not aware of any ability, if you make a decision and spend money and ultimately can't do what you'd like to do on property, I'm not aware of any legal claim for that.
Right. And the state of Tennessee can't come in here and override our rezoning restrictions.
No.
Any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Thank you.
Goins?
Yes.
Slater?
Yes.
Mason?
Yes.
Ledford,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Winters,
Yes.
Beatty,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Alford,
Yes.
Cry,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
It's 14 in favor and none opposed.
Thank you very much. And I want to thank everyone for coming, and remember what I earlier said, you can watch this on your TV by pulling up the county government site. It's on file. You can pull the meeting up. The communications from the audience, I'll recognize and allow up to 5 minutes for anyone wishing to speak. Speakers must speak into the microphone, identify themselves.
Encourage everybody to we meet next Monday night at 7 too if they want to come back out because they won't be.
It's been here at 11 o'clock.
We don't.
There's a lot of builders right now shaking in their shoes. Like, oh goodness, right?
This guy's
Yeah, I knew we couldn't do it. I already knew that. Oh, I'm talking about the impact fees.
This guy here thinks we can't do it. We have to.
I can't believe we had two candidates get up and speak.
That Byron,
Both of them from the second district.
and the moratorium. The moratorium is no more than putting the problem off. That's not solving the problem. Hell, that's a lot of the problem in Nashville. In our federal government, is put problems off instead of taking care of them. Welcome.
My name is Todd Bills. I'm a resident of Bradley County, 40 years, 7 generations. What you're getting is some of this. Well, first of all, some of the commissioners here aren't aware of what's been happening. Others are. This is about the Bradley County landfill, the contract Bradley County has with Santec / Republic Waste Services. It's about Tennessee Code annotated 68-211-835. A lot of people realize there's laws governing how a landfill is operated. What most people don't realize is in the state of Tennessee, there's laws governing the money side of a municipal-owned landfill. And our landfill's not been operated according to Tennessee law ever. I've been in this industry for over 40 years myself. This has been brought to the Bradley County Commission before. This contract, Bradley County owns, the citizens and businesses of Bradley County own the landfill. And this law, the Bradley County is responsible for setting the fee, what everybody pays. And our contract with the company that's managing this is setting the fees. Not only that, they're collecting all the money. 100% of the money is supposed to go back to Bradley County, not 10% as a host fee, and that's what's happening right now. Even the 10% host fee isn't being handled properly. The money is supposed to be used for solid waste, landfill, recycling. And I've got everything that I've given you comes from open records from Bradley County. I've got stuff from Polk County, and like, for example, Polk County. 100% of Polk County's waste comes to Bradley County. They pay $26.06 per ton. Me, as a Bradley County resident who owns the landfill, I have to pay $65 per ton. The city of Cleveland, the city of Charleston, you know, this landfill was built for Bradley County and its residents. The city of Cleveland, the city of Charleston, can't even afford to use its own landfill. Their waste is sent to a private landfill in Athens, Tennessee. In Bradley County's own contract, it states that the citizens are supposed to pay $2 for 5 bags of trash. We're supposed to pay $27 per ton. And I brought this up in 2019. I've been working on this a long time. That there was a lawsuit that had been filed, and it was dismissed for lack of cause, I believe is the term. Am I right? It was about what I'm presenting to you. It was dismissed not because of the ruling of the law. It was lack of cause, I believe is what it was. There's never been a ruling. What I will say is, it never should have went to a lawsuit. It should have went where it's going now. It's already been provided. Everything you've got in about 1,400 more pages has been sent to the Tennessee State Comptroller's Office. It's already been reported. After I present this, it goes to the Tennessee State Attorney General's Office, the TBI, TDEC, and I can't even remember everybody that gets it. And what I'm asking you to do is take a look at what's going on with our landfill. We're getting trash from Georgia. We're getting trash. There's been 3 amendments that have been made to this contract. All 3 of them either involved more expansion, bring more waste from 150 miles away, and one of the amendments, let's see, I think it was called Community Involvement Fund. They're calling it donations. It's money that's supposed to be going into, we're talking about millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. And I'm jumping around because I've got 5 minutes and it's up. But I'm telling you, there's a day of reckoning coming, and it's coming pretty quick. And I'm so mad that this has been going on for 40 years. You know, when Santec sold, I told you all, they announced the sale of Santec about 90 days after the lawsuit was filed. The owner of Santec was grooming his son to take over. He was actually working for the company to take over. But after the lawsuit was filed, I guess what happened is the owner realized they weren't following the law. Time was up. It was announced they were selling to Santec or Republic. And I told you about Republic's problems. And I told you that what's going to happen is, at the time the gate rate was like $33 a ton, it's $65 now. In 5 years, they've more than doubled the price. Bradley County citizens and its businesses who own the landfill are paying the highest fee to use their own landfill. When Republic has a transfer station in Catoosa County, Georgia. A transfer station is a facility where the residents, commercial haulers, unload their waste. It's reloaded onto a tractor trailer. It takes a lot of equipment to do this. It's transported from Catoosa County to our landfill. Just 1 minute. That's all. It's 60 seconds, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is very important.
Sorry, we have to vote on that.
Okay. Oh, you have to vote.
No, it has to get a second.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. So, Catoosa County, Georgia, Republic Waste Services, who's the company that manages the landfill for us. They operate the landfill for us. They charge $65 per ton for the waste that goes to that transfer station in Georgia, where it's reloaded at a very large expense onto tractor trailers and then transported to our landfill. In order for that to happen, there's, and their profit margin is in that. So by the time it reaches our landfill, they've already used up $35 of that $65. So that means that trash is going into the landfill at a rate of $30. Okay? That's because you're allowing the company that's operating this landfill to give the rates to whoever they want to give, like Polk County's $26.06 per ton. Now, through all these records requests, here's another example. I've got all the tonnage every year since 2015 for every year for every ton of trash that's went into our landfill and the money that has been paid to the county. When you take the tonnage versus the money that we've been paid, it amounts to an average of $27 per ton for the waste. 27. Now, that's the middle. We're paying $65 per ton as a resident. What's the low side? $10 per ton? Because that's the rate they're giving themselves. Out of $10, the county gets $1. $1 for a ton of trash. We're allowing these companies to make hundreds of millions of dollars and filling our landfill up with cheap trash. Besides that, we're not following the law. And that's the most important thing. You've got the law. This is the second time I've given you the law. Well, I'm going to tell you, something's going to be done about it this time. I'm open to helping in any way. My contact information is there. I'll tell you this, Republic's already aware of this. I've spoken with their corporate office. Within 2 hours, I was contacted by a law firm that they have on retainer in Nashville, Tennessee. They're very concerned about this. They made a purchase of a company, and they know landfills. They're the world's right now. They're the world's most ethical company. That's what they were voted this past year. The problem was they assumed the contract was good because it's been in place for 30 or 40 years. Problem is they weren't aware of the law with the state of Tennessee that protects our municipal landfill. Yeah, they're very concerned about this. They're all over it. So the people that were here that set this up, another thing, this community involvement commitment fund, and some of you commissioners call it donations. It's not. It's millions of dollars that's coming from Republic, being put into a pet project fund because they're trying to deviate from the law that says the money can only be used for the landfill, solid waste purposes, and or recycling. So in 2015, I'm not going to mention the name, a fund was set up. And they signed an amendment with Santec that where they would only keep $1 million in the solid waste fund. Well, guess what? They're not even doing that. As soon as $1.2 million hits the fund, they'll leave $200,000 in it, and the money's transferred into this fund. It's number 189. And there's only one person that has control of this money. That's not right. The public doesn't even know about this. So I am spilling the beans. Well, I am spilling the beans. And if anybody wants to talk to me about this, I'm more than glad. The copies that I gave, there was enough for every commissioner, I'd like to get the rest of the copies back there for the media.
Right there on the desk.
Sir, you're now disrupting our meeting. Please.
Wow.